Okay, so hope everyone can hear me. Let's check the mic. All right, guys. It is a Tuesday here in Asia, and Bitcoin has just broken the $10,000 psychological support. Right. We did have a very quick and fast run up. In the last in the last few days leading up to the end of June, and we're now experiencing a very steep correction or retracement in the early days of July. So, what should folks be doing? I don't think anyone who got in early, right? When I say early, which is March, which is the February-March period, should even be concerned at all, right? Obviously, folks who bought in at the $7,000 region, I'm sure you guys are feeling a little bit concerned about your positions because you're not really very much in the money. I would say, okay, 7,000 to 10,000, obviously you're already up a good significant a good significant 20%, right? So it's very healthy for us to experience this correction at the moment. Altcoins obviously are not doing so well versus Satoshi, but as in on a Satoshi standpoint, right? Because when Bitcoin goes down, you're also gonna have a correction in that particular cryptocurrency as well. Now the thing about the US dollar value in those cryptocurrencies, there are certain cryptocurrencies that are pretty resilient, and we found slight negative correlations. So I think it's more of the fact that I'm happy to see that there's a correction happening now. There are theories that we could see a break below 8, which is very possible. Okay, and like I said, when we run up way too quickly, there has to be underlying undercurrents that are supporting the price movement. So I'm going to be covering all this right now. All right. So this is oh wow, Luis. All right, what's up, Luis? Surprised that you're watching crypto. At the same time, a refudution and why so petty officer. All right. So this is so I think folks, the idea right now. Okay, at least what's the strategy in my head? I wasn't accumulating any kind of positions aggressively as the market goes up. What I was doing was just observing what is the market movements. I don't have any intentions to sell my existing positions because we got in so early, so cheap at the bottom of the market. There is no reason to actually exit now. What I'm going to be doing is just very simple. I keep my portfolio very simple. Wherever is the consolidation, wherever Bitcoin decides to stop, nobody knows, by the way. We can only just put some Fibonacci lines and just see where roughly we're going to see some level of support. So that's kind of like what we can do today in the episode very quickly and very simply. So based on the fibs, right, which is very easy to use. Okay, you just have to when you have a Coinergy or whatnot, you just pick the lowest point and then you just drag to the top point. Voila, finish. Very easy, very simple, right? So I always like to look at the longer time frames. I rarely trade anything below the 4 hours or the 1 hour. I don't. It's been such a long time since I've done that, and I think it's great to have a longer time frame and a larger perspective. So where do we see ourselves? Okay, so obviously, based on the current wick on the 1 day, you already see Bitcoin touching the 0.382 Fibonacci ratio, and it's at 9886. It kind of dipped very quickly and then it kind of bounced. So why did that happen? Well, obviously people have been setting orders, right, to purchase Bitcoin, and either they left the order there and they kind of forgot about it, and now today because Bitcoin is selling down so aggressively, it kind of hit, and then it will have a bounce. Now the question is, will there be further downside pressure? It looks very likely that there will be further downside pressure. So the next support level would be obviously the 8,600. Oops, oh my goodness, I'm sorry. Guys, sorry, I was babbling without the charts. I'm so sorry for all the technical folks. So the current levels, right, that we are looking at I would say that we would probably bounce a little bit on this current level, which is the 9886 level, and then after that there should be some retests to the 8648 level, okay, which is really fine, guys. Which is really fine. Look at how quickly. Can I give you all a bit of a little bit of a rundown how quickly we ran up here? Okay, so these are basically a total of daily candles, right? So if you look at the daily candles and we just put like a date range, right? Okay, yeah. So from here, from here actually, because it broke the range, right, guys? It only took 11 days. Okay, 11 days for the price, okay, for the price to go up. Okay, so 11 days for the price to go up 60%. 11 days to have an increase in BTC price, a total of 60%. That is very, very quick. It's very fast money. Those who are on BitMEX were obviously laughing. They were very happy. You know, there were some folks who managed to catch the trend. They were willing to be risk takers. Yeah. So kudos to those folks. I'm sure they were smart enough to at least take profit, right? And right now you're seeing this retracement. So there were folks who were obviously trying to short, there were folks who were trying to long, you know, it was all over the place. For me, I'm just keeping my portfolio simple. Whenever there are strong and heavy retracements, I will definitely be going back in. Now, the happy part about what I did was I actually swapped BTC out for alts at the $5,000 range. Okay, no hate. Okay, I just prefer altcoins. HT and HPT did extremely well. They actually outperformed BTC in terms of percentage wise. So I don't care about the Satoshi gains. I'm looking at the dollar value for me. So I'm already a winner. Now the next thing is to reaccumulate these positions. Now there are certain things, for example, why am I accumulating? Don't accumulate just because I say or what I'm doing, right? For me, I just believe that, okay, for now, Binance or Huobi has the best chance to expand and establish themselves when the market is still relatively quiet. And I like I mentioned in the past few episodes, I still feel that the market is still very unaware that this new run is starting to pick up. Now there are on the OTC side, okay, I've been talking to a few friends who are doing OTC pretty extensively, and they have pretty large amounts and large transactions usually. So what happens is that there isn't a lot of heavy selling, okay, and the premiums that they are charging are not crazy as well, okay, anywhere from 3% to about 5%. So I would say that's pretty normal. At the same time, there are arbitrage opportunities in Korea, Thailand, and China. So arbitrage opportunities are very simple. You buy cheap on one exchange and you sell expensive on another. What happens is that you obviously have to have either friends or a bank account in that respective country, or people that you can trust. And after that, you have those people convert their native currency to a more well-received fiat currency like US dollars or whatever, Singapore dollars or whatever. So that's kind of like what's been happening. So that's business as usual. So I don't see like a huge panic because, like I said, the new money or the crazy new money isn't in yet. So I'm actually pretty happy with this current correction. I am actually pretty happy that at least we didn't run crazy. There were folks that were saying that it would be going straight to 20,000. That was the best joke ever. But yeah, like I said, I never saw that as a possibility. Although yes, there was this very, very strong movement, like I said, in the last 11 days in June, leading up to the peak of Bitcoin's price this year, which is 13,800. In fact, it hit around 14,000 on quite a number of exchanges. So what to do now? Well, folks, as we know, if the sell pressure is just seriously quite strong, people who kind of bought at the high, especially those who bought at 10,000, people who bought at 12,000, 13,000, they're obviously panicking at the moment. Because if, let's say, just keep playing the devil's advocate now and being very objective about it. If this was anything of as a past performance, as a past indicator. Okay, so we have this strong, heavy sell down, right? And if this is something like that, it could be a double dip. But the question is, where is the support? So, folks who are still in the game, right? And I've been consulting a few private clients of late. Some are new, some are older. Clients who have visited me before, and then some clients are new. The whole strategy right now is to just stay focused, right? Play the end game, which is 2020. I don't care about 2019, guys. I really don't. In fact, I'm pretty happy, like I said, that I'm actually rejoicing that the market just corrected again, and I am able to find the new support levels in the new period. Okay, so let's assume that we have Bitcoin retrace back to anywhere around here, okay, which is the $7,400 to the $8,600 level. I think altcoins will also take a pretty good smashing. So we're looking at anywhere from maybe 20 to 30% discount again, and then from there we'll see where the price stabilizes. Anything that has a nice, stable, slow movement, right, is what we want. Because I know for a fact that a lot of people still do not have enough positions. There are people who are still dormant. They don't care about what's happening in the current market situation because either they made a lot of money at the time, or they just feel that, it's not the same, which is true. I don't have the excitement from newbies. A lot of newbies are not in yet. Okay, so that's what we want to take note of. Okay, so switch over from Mithril, okay, I assume, okay, and then what's up, make BTC daily. Pretty crazy roller coaster, so I just accumulate BNB. Am I crazy? Well, look, BNB is still one of the leading, in fact, it's one of the leading exchanges, right? But hype is also something that can play against you. So speculative value is still the value that we kind of, we kind of put it on a pedestal in this space. If we don't manage our risk and we don't manage our expectation of the returns, we can get caught, and that sin is greed. Okay, that sin is greed. Most of the people right now, they are really trying to get back in because they didn't cash out. Okay, that's one. They didn't cash out at that time, or they didn't know about how to cash out, right? And then from then, they were hodling a lot of altcoins that were extremely unnecessary. So streamline your portfolio if you still have too many random shit. Okay, let's just face it. Look at Dragon Coin, DRGN. Okay, the ticker DRGN. It had a lot of hype at one point because it was the Disney blockchain or whatever crap. Where is it now? Right? Where's Aeon? AION. Where's that? Right? So a lot of all these tokens, ARK, okay, ARK, which was a bridging technology with some kind of listening nodes to kind of pick up the sentiment between one blockchain and another. Where's ARK now? There are all these old coins. How's Augur doing, right? Augur is a prediction market platform. Where's that? All these things, right, are kind of like the thing of the past already. It's no longer trending. It's no longer in people's in people's investor sites. So it's gonna be a very dynamic market once again, although slightly slower. So you want to take advantage of all these little things and start formulating a game plan that you can just simply execute. If you cannot execute your game plan and you're just all over the place, right, you really need help, man. You really need help, because this is really the second round for you to get rich. Okay, and and right now you have more time. Okay, if right now you have more time, that means you have more time to enter the market. Okay, because clearly you can see there are retracements happening. Why do I say this? It's a good thing. Okay, in 2017 there were practically negligible retracements. Negligible. Right now you're seeing nice 5 days of retracement already. Okay, that means you're seeing this. So people are like, people are panicking. They're like, oh no, this is the end already. This is probably the end of the world already. Well, even if it truly was, right, and our crypto cycle could go into multiple bear, multiple bulls, That's why when you look at things from a long-term perspective, it's really not that bad. You want this, right? You want this to happen so that you can buy cheap. You don't want to be the idiot that buys at the all-time high all the time, right? So be smart. What platform is good to trade? Well, okay, platforms, like I said, stick to the big boys. Okay, if you can use Coinbase Pro, use Coinbase Pro. If you can use Binance, use Binance. If you can use Huobi, just use Huobi. Don't take the risk. Okay, so another thing. There are clients, right, who are surprisingly they are spread across quite a number of exchanges. And the reason they do that is because they don't want to miss out on an exclusive on that exchange. My question to you is hunting for that minute 2x, 3x worth it for you to lose your coins in the event that that exchange is lacking in security, is lacking in, is not only that, lacking in security. They are not a prominent exchange. They are just wash trading to look like as if they're doing well on CoinMarketCap, right? They know how to game the API on CoinMarketCap, guys. Okay, CoinMarketCap is making too much money to give a shit about whether or not the exchange has legit volume or not. They don't care. So you need to identify. Until now, if you haven't heard of this particular exchange and you still choose to use it because you think, man, never mind, it's just like one of those sites, man. This hot token I've heard in this little pump and dump signal group, and they're gonna really move it. Let's go in there. Sure, man. Create and cultivate all these bad habits. Just do it. You deserve to lose your coins. You deserve to be poor and stay with your mother in the basement all your life because you just want to find that opportunity in an obscure exchange. And now in 2019, we still have exchanges, right? We still have people creating exchanges to dupe the markets, to dupe the people who are not savvy, all right? Cause them to lose their coins because the moment it deposits, okay, they can have some trading going on. They can have some exclusive internal magical coins that no one has heard of, that has done very little to no marketing, or creates a fabricated Telegram group with airdropped users and bots, right? And you being none the wiser, you're the only fish in the shark tank. And that's not a good thing. You're the only fish in the shark tank, right? And the moment the exchange, either this dubious exchange, either generates enough deposits to decide to, you know what, our time is up, it's time to close. Okay, that's one. The next thing is, you will see for the fact that, withdrawals are starting to get delayed. That's another sign that they don't have enough liquidity, okay? Because all these things done on the blockchain, right, are very, very fast. Everything that is digital is very, very, very fast. Either you have the liquidity or you don't, right? So liquidity comes from a few ways. One, they are dealing with a larger counterparty to have the supply to meet the demand, which is the customers. If the customers are not going to deposit any of the cryptocurrencies into those smaller exchanges. Now, small exchanges doesn't mean that they are entirely bad. It depends on what kind of level of licensing they have. And most of the time, most exchanges will not go through the hassle because it's just too tedious, guys. Getting a license, okay, can range anywhere from 3 to 6 months to even 12 months, okay? And there are frameworks, okay, depending on which country, there are frameworks in place to really make sure that these exchanges comply. Okay? So yeah. So a lot of stupid shit is still being done at this moment, at this current point. Okay? Okay, so Ryan, do you use stop losses? No, I don't. Okay? I don't trade, guys. I don't trade. I invest. Okay? And I'm very confident about the things that I put in. But when I decide to exit, guys, I exit relatively quickly. I know exactly when and what I want to do. Okay, this is something that is just inbuilt. I'm not gonna be able to always share all these very quickly. Like I said, I have a family. Today, I had to send my little kid to the doctor. Stuff happens all the time. But when I exit, I exit. So that's why I mentioned many, many times before, be part of the Protégé Pro group. When you're part of the Protégé Pro group, you get mark-to-market information. Right? If you don't want to be part of the Protégé group, that's fine as well. It doesn't matter to me Because at the end of the day, when I tell people about something, it makes money. But the thing is, exiting is really on your own. You want to exit at 2x, that's fine. You want to hold on and wait until the market picks up and exit later. That's fine as well. It just all depends on your own personal situation. So what am I planning to start re-establishing? I am going to start accumulating my positions. That means my altcoin positions. My altcoin portfolio, I'm going to just maybe right, take some profit into Bitcoin, right? To kind of have some Bitcoin, okay? Because right now I see, my altcoin positions are actually doing pretty well. They're still holding their value. But I want to have some Bitcoins just in case we have another run like this. I can obviously rebuy back. So I'm now adopting that strategy because now it's nearing 2020. So it's at least 6 months to the end of 2020. So I kind of want to do a little bit of that. But my BTC position, I will not have that much. I'm still looking at just 20-30%. Now, there are folks who are saying, stay entirely in 80% in Bitcoin. Now, when you do entirely in Bitcoin and you don't use US dollar tether, this is what happens, right? You could have just retained some of that value. Now, nobody knows. Could it be at this point? So let's say if we look at, let me just get rid of the time frames now. Okay, now when Bitcoin just broke. Okay, when Bitcoin just broke this, it was showing a nice cup. It didn't even have a handle. It just broke, right? And then obviously there will be folks who are like, wow, 10K is probably a very strong psychology. That was not true. So a lot of people were shorting. They got owned, right? It went up to the 11,000 mark. That didn't happen as well. So there was clearly no resistance, right? Any kind of resistance or consolidation. So that was kind of like the reference that people had to work on, which was very, very bad. There was no reference at all. Now, okay, so we now have this correction that's happening at this point in time. So we are now looking at this angle. Could we just go all the way down back to 7K? Well, we could, guys. Anything is possible because our market cap is still very, very small. So the sad thing is, I was hoping that Bitcoin would at least hold the $10,000 range with a 300 billion market cap. And if we kind of have a consolidation, that means anywhere from 9 to 11,000, right? Our altcoins will do pretty well. Okay, our altcoins will do pretty well. It's just the way it is. So what's been happening? Why this sudden change or why this sudden shift in motion or movement? The trade war, nothing seems to be happening on that end, right? The trade war is still going on. It's nothing conclusive at the moment. The tariffs are still very, very high for China imported products. At the same time, there's still a lot of issues with the whole 5G network that Huawei is trying to set up across quite a number of countries, but they were still able to win contracts across 30 other countries that were open to the 5G network. So I'm kind of looking at that angle, and the whole AI space. The whole AI space is still looking pretty strong, and there are things like voice, for example, that I'm pretty interested in. So perhaps, of course, EOS is working on voice, but the recent Wires rating downgrade kind of like probably caused them to also have quite a bit of people selling down on EOS. But I'm looking at accumulating some EOS at this point in time. I didn't have EOS for quite a while, but I am looking at them more seriously now. I am also going to just continue my HT and HPT accumulation plan, and I'm going to have some BTC. So as you can see, I only want to have a few coins. Now, Ethereum is another one that has been, my bad, right? My bad. I know that I overlooked Ethereum. Let's see. Okay, so what I kind of did was, back to Ethereum. I kind of overlooked Ethereum a little bit. I'm not crying over it. Ethereum has not done as well compared to the other positions. Like if you look at the, okay, give me a second. Like guys, I'm not the fastest dude that does charting, of course. Okay, so let's say we look at the whole 2019, right? The beginning of 2019, year to date, right? Year to date, Ethereum has done, so the peak was 229%. Okay, I hope you guys can see it. And the right now it's currently at 174%. So meaning that even if you bought at the low, right? Okay, at the low, you are now basically 1.74x, okay, which is okay. Overall as an investment, right, 74% in a matter of a few months is still pretty sick. Okay, it's still pretty sick. Wait, that's the thing. It's a bit weird. Wait, it shouldn't be 74%, right? Because if you bought it at about no, that's actually, yeah, correct. Okay, so the profit is 167%. Sorry, the profit is 167%. That means the increase is 167%. So the total return would be 267%. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, so the total profit, if you have bought Ethereum at the all-time low, which was around the $80 range, you will already have a 167% profit, which is about 170, which is awesome already. Now, Ethereum seems to be showing a little bit of resilience, but nonetheless, we all know that tier 1 altcoins will follow BTC's correction. So Litecoin is also dying, Ethereum is also dying, BCH, BSV, all dying. Same. Okay, anything that is kind of related to, okay, and of course, exception Ethereum, right? Ethereum obviously has their own blockchain, right? But for anything that is from the Bitcoin node, right? Like Quantum's also taking a hit. It was doing pretty well, closing in on $6, but then after that, it didn't happen. So Binance seems to be the most resilient at the moment, but of course it's also correcting, and I think it's due for a really heavy correction. So take note, if you've been accumulating Binance at the high, right, and you already are still in a little bit of profit, my suggestion is, like I said, it's just a suggestion and it's non-financial advice, is to kind of take a bit of the profits that you have made, or even take out your capital and have it in US dollar tether or USD, right? Because why have it in USD or US dollar tether? Very simple. You are now able to rebuy, right, your favorite cryptocurrencies, right, for a discount. Now, that would have been way better in hindsight a few days ago. But it doesn't mean that you can't take profit still, guys. Because if it forms a double top, a double bottom, a triple top, right, which is usually a reversal from a technical standpoint, and if the OBV, which is the on-base volume, the volume is actually dropping, you probably want to make these adjustments to your portfolio at the moment. There's nothing wrong in holding cash, guys. There's nothing wrong in holding cash. Okay, so right, so let's just see what's the question now. Is BCH trash? Okay, when you talk about fundamentals, right? Bitcoin Cash, I wouldn't say it's trash. Okay, why do I not say it's trash? If there are efforts that Roger Ver is making, right, in making Bitcoin Cash more user-friendly, and there are people who actually use Bitcoin Cash because there is, it's more fluid as a cryptocurrency, as a digital currency, then it's not trash. I cannot be I don't use Bitcoin Cash, okay? I don't have any Bitcoin Cash. There's no merchant in Singapore that accepts Bitcoin Cash. I cannot validate this point. So if he's doing great works, and people who, and Roger Ver, he's a very influential speaker. He is the original Bitcoin Jesus, right? At the time, he was giving out Bitcoin together with Charlie Shrem, and they of course they kind of met together when Charlie Shrem connected with the Winklevoss brothers. There's read the Bitcoin Billionaires book, guys. I mean, read the Bitcoin Billionaires book and kind of see the whole transition of how they came into the Bitcoin space, or how they got themselves, how they got acquainted. It's pretty interesting. Everything started from the Silk Road, and then from then, there were implications that Charlie Shrem was also, assisting this very heavy BTC buyer called Bitcoin King, BTC King, and he failed to blow the whistle because he was a compliant exchange. Okay, even though small, he was transacting kind of like the second amount of volume compared to Mt. Gox. And he was complacent. He allowed that he allowed that BTC King to continuously buy huge amounts of Bitcoin. That account was the largest account, right? And that was what got him implicated. And there was a link that this BTC King was actually purchasing Bitcoins for the Silk Road. Something to do with that. Okay, so just read the story, and that's how Charlie Shrem, had to serve, I think, 10 months, or was it 30, probably 10 months or 36 months, something along those regions. So, these kind of things are very interesting. I mean, not that it helps you make any money, but it's interesting to read. Okay, so now the next thing is you're late for EOS. There's no such thing as late, man. There really is no such thing as late. Okay, there's no such thing as late. Okay, if you believe in the long-term play of what EOS is doing, there's no such thing as late. You wanna take a bet right now, Lemmy Ray, that in 2020 EOS will probably do better. Why? Because they raised one of the most money in the space. 4.2 billion doesn't just disappear in a matter of days. Even if I'm wrong in 2020, and EOS just screws up technically, okay, it doesn't matter, because right now it's still hovering right at a reasonable price range speculatively. There's no financial statements to back it up, but why would you spend $30 million on a domain called voice.com and only have your project fail? Right? So yeah. So there's no such thing as late. I think it's only just a matter of what kind of entries. See, so right now it's all about building a portfolio. If you have very little money, obviously you have to be a little bit more careful in the way you manage your portfolio. But if you plan to have a dollar cost averaging strategy that you still are able to adapt, this is exactly what you want. This is the current market situation that you want. You want to have that correction so that you can re-enter. Okay. So whatever. Now you're probably asking, oh, can I buy this? It's a standard question. Can I buy this? Can I buy that? You can engage me on a one-to-one, right? You can email me at ryan@cryptogrinders.com, or you can email us at info@cryptogrinders.com. There are one-to-one consultations available at an hourly rate. And two, if you prefer to take the slower approach, you still want to learn about the markets, the Protégé Pro group is one of the most perfect ways for you to learn at a low cost. Okay, that's kind of like how I can really help you strategize. No point watching YouTube videos and asking opinions about different things, about your own portfolio. Nobody cares about your portfolio, my friend, because sometimes, right, you must understand that no one is going to read widely enough, and if you happen to be the only fanboy for your project, right, that's a concern. But maybe you being a fanboy and you understanding your project more in depth than every other influencer or YouTuber, you could have struck gold. Same thing, when no one understood what Huopipu token was doing, right? I was the only guy who was talking about Huopipu token, guys. If you go and search Huopipu token, I was the only guy that talked about it, as in English, and I was someone who gave a very, very in-depth review about Huopipu token. Okay? I was the only one. Right? And that was one of the best returns for 2019 for me. Yeah. But I was the only guy. So guys, have your own opinion. Sometimes having your own opinion, taking the effort to be less lazy, right? And, just going and talking to people, talking to the projects if you can, right? Getting some in-depth knowledge about it. Now, obviously, not everyone can go and can speak to the projects, right? Sometimes they'll be like, so you are, like how do you connect? So you have to be of value. So the next thing I want to highlight, okay, be of value to the industry. Okay, if you are someone who can connect projects to the exchange, now that's already a very, very good thing already. You're bringing value to two different parties. One needs to be listed, the other party, right, or an exchange, they need strong, solid listings. After doing the proper validations and all that, right, you just practically brokered a deal. You're of value already. Not just a pleb that is investing a few $1,000s and you feel you have the right to know all these things, man. That is one of the biggest jokes. You know how VCs, right, venture capitalists, they don't just invest in a startup and say, hey man, you just go and do all the work. The VCs who are really solid will help and groom and grow the company. They put in the money, right? Because startups don't have much money. They put in the money, they invest in the people or the business concept, and they help it grow with their connection. You see how that works? Do you see what just happened there? So don't feel that you're a self-entitled prick that just invested a few $1,000 or maybe 5 figures and you feel that this project is not doing enough. If they're not strong in marketing, why don't you go and show them how it's going to be done? Why don't you come up with a proposal on how kick-ass your marketing plan is going to be and how you are going to help them open markets in your country? How about that? Instead of sitting there and complaining. See, this is what I notice over and over again. And that is why the difference between a high net worth savvy investor compared to a pleb, that's the difference. All right? Anyway, folks, that is all I have to say today. Like I said, stay safe, stay hungry for information. Knowledge is power, guys, but execution is the key to success. All right, see you guys, and see you in the